So in the last video, we found this Honda Fit and found some really cool wheels that were still on it. And it turns out, these were actually Honda factory performance wheels. Hello and welcome, my name is Kevin, and if y'all are new here, welcome to the channel where I build this Honda Civic using only parts that I find at the junkyard. It's now day 10 and there's still plenty of parts that we could look for.
Today I wasn't really planning on coming to the junkyard, but on my way home I was like, maybe just, I figured I'd just walk around just to scope out the yard, see what they got. And who knows, maybe we'll find something cool. We'll end up finding something cool.
And right as we enter the junkyard, I see this sitting at the front of their lot. Now depending on what yard you go to, sometimes they'll have fully functional cars that haven't been wrecked yet up for grabs, and for a pretty cheap price as well. Now me being a Honda fanboy, I absolutely had to check this thing out. And just taking a quick look on the inside, this thing is actually super clean. And wait a minute, is that what I think it is? This thing is equipped with a standard transmission, something that every car should have in my opinion. And so we're just gonna pop the hood and see what we're working with. It's got a decently clean engine bay with the original motor inside of it. This would surely be a great daily driver to have. And with its condition, I bet it was someone's family car at some point. And like I said before, these junkyard cars are decently affordable. Not as good as a Facebook Market deal, but $2K for this car, not a bad price I'd say. And shout out to Joseph at HEB for keeping such a clean car. I thought this red interior was pretty cool, but it does kind of feel grandpa-ish. It is in a nice condition though, so no complaints for a second-hand car. And sitting in the driver's seat, it feels pretty nice, considering how old the car is.
Oh man, this thing is super clean, dude. If I had 2K to throw away, I would definitely pick this up. The interior is so sick as well. Like, it's got these old school armrests. Yeah, this is fire. One of the homies has one of these. I don't know, maybe I'll pick up one of these just to match them. Oh my god, 300,000?
Yeah, this goes to show that old Hondas, they're just unkillable. Treat them right and they'll last forever.
That'd be a nice project. Maybe I'll get that next. You guys just saw me find new wheels for the car. On my Instagram, you guys voted that I should be looking for an exhaust. So that's what I'll be doing for today.
And so for our first candidate, I came across this 2004 Honda Civic, and it looks like it's got a really fat fart can on the back of it. Funny thing is, I found this with a front lip on it actually, and as I was walking around the yard looking for other cars, someone ended up taking the lip during that time. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this exhaust that it has on the rear end. Taking a closer look at it, I didn't find any type of brand or logo on it. So I'm assuming it's just a random eBay exhaust tip that you could just weld onto any car. And luckily this one's bolted on by a flange, so I wouldn't have to do any cutting in order to take this home with me.
Yeah, this could definitely be an option, but I think I'm gonna walk the lot some more. Maybe I could find something else. Maybe something that's brand name. If I can't find anything else, we'll grab that exhaust. Hopefully no one takes it, so maybe we'll have some time to just walk around the lot. I do want to find some more cars.
Alright, and as we continue our junkyard journey, we come across another Honda Accord, but this one appears to be a 5th generation. And y'all, check out this exhaust tip on this car. Kind of reminds me of those wild builds over in Japan, with the super flared out body kits and the obnoxious exhaust tips. But actually this could be just OEM. It only looks crazy because the rear bumper is off of the car, so right now it's giving the illusion of an extended exhaust tip. But aftermarket or not, this style of exhaust tip would give our Civic build a lot of character and flair, considering that most Civic builds just have a single exit exhaust tip. And then right here, I was just curious to know if this was an aftermarket grille because of the mesh style that it had. And so we're probably not going to take the exhaust from this car, but I think I do see something inside that I kind of want. Ah yes, the classic Honda steering wheel cover. I'm not even sure if this is an actual Honda part that they sell. Like, I'm pretty sure you could just find this on eBay or Amazon, because there's a whole bunch of weird Honda merch out there being sold by third-party companies. But I figured this would be a nice part for the car, just to, show my Honda loyalty.
Not really into these, but I think it'd be a funny gimmick to, throw into the Civic. Oh, but wait, I have an Acura steering wheel. I wonder if this will fit. Whoa. Guys. Yo, what is this on the floor?
What? No way, did I just find an authentic AEM part? Kinda looks like piping for an air filter. Check it out, it's even got like the serial number and everything. Yeah, this was pretty cool to find on the floor. I wonder if it was for this Accord. Well, let's pop the hood and take a look. Pretty cool find. Would have been nice to slap this on the Civic, but it's too bad that it has this hole in it. I wonder what happened. Was this Accord just pushing out too much boost or what? Now as we walk around to the rear end, I thought this was pretty cool. Looks like the owner installed an aftermarket exhaust system, and it seems to be made from a company called Bro Speed. Never heard of them, but let me know if y'all have.
You know what? I've kind of been thinking, what am I gonna do after this series is done? Should I do another Junkyard series? And if so, what kind of car should I do? I was kind of thinking maybe I should modify an everyday traffic car. I think it'd be a fun build to do like a, to modify a regular old car that usually doesn't get modified. You got Honda Accords like this that you see every day on the road. Something that's really not meant to be modified, you know? Maybe y'all can give me some ideas, because I think I'll be in search of one after I'm done with this Civic.
Speaking of ugly cars, I came across this Toyota Corolla, and man, a wave of nostalgia just hit me like a truck with this car. My family used to own one of these, a tan one, and essentially it was the hand-me-down car for all of my siblings. Yeah, this thing's been through hell and back with multiple accidents and many traffic violations. Now here's another neat little find. We found ourselves a Subaru Outback. Now when it comes to cars, I always thought that wagons were just absolutely hideous. But now that I'm older, I've grown to appreciate the uniqueness in this design, and I low-key want one as a road trip car. Honestly, I just think it'd be hilarious to have a road trip version of your project car. For example, I've had my eyes on like Accord wagons or the Lexus IS300 wagons, and an honorable mention, the Honda Orthia with the EK9 front conversion.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just want every type of car, and a wagon would definitely be on the list. Oh, and look at this. It's the Junkyard carpet that we saw last time. Someone in the comment section saw that I was looking for a CRV table. It mentioned that Honda Elements also have a table in the trunk compartment. So real quick, I just wanted to check for myself and see if it has it. But it looks like someone already snuck out with it. Our next find is going to be a 7th gen Honda Accord. And some of you guys were DMing me telling me that the airbags in this car are actually the same ones as the TSX steering wheel. So if I ever find one that's not blown up, I'm definitely going to swap airbags for the center Honda badge.
Wow, this would have been an awesome find if the airbag wasn't already blown up. It's pretty much the same steering wheel as mine, but it's the Honda.
And in the next row, we found another Honda Accord. I went to take a look to see if the airbag was still intact, but unfortunately this one's going to be blown up as well. But now that I know this, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled out for 7th gen Honda Accords from now on. But yeah guys, we're going to keep it pushing. I turn the corner and to my surprise, I find a Honda Civic, the exact same model as mine. I was pretty excited to find this here and was wondering what kind of parts that it has for me to take home. It does look like it was picked apart though, so at first I didn't have much hope. The front end's been picked apart as you can see. It would have been nice to have a new hood and some fenders, but that'll have to be another episode I guess. There goes the hood, but it had some minor dents in it, so I didn't think it was worth taking. But check it out guys, as we come around to the rear end, it so happens that this car had exactly what we were looking for today, an aftermarket exhaust tip.
What? Guys, I just found an aftermarket exhaust for our car. Man, how lucky is that? Looks like it was originally green. It's got a D16 white 8 inside of it. Let's check out the inside.
There isn't really much to see. Most of the interior and the dash is already taken out, but it's still got some original parts like the cup holder and like the center console. Yeah, original specialty items like this probably fetch for a good price. You know, I'm surprised people don't take it into their own hands and 3D print this stuff. Maybe I should invest in a 3D scanner and a printer.
gonna go ahead and get this hood out the way. Actually, I am looking for a new hood, but this one's kind of dented up as well, so yeah, we don't need it. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get up under there, and we're gonna take that exhaust off.
Alright, so as we take a look underneath, it seems like the exhaust is welded onto the original exhaust system, so we're gonna have to take the whole thing off as one piece. It probably costs less if you just cut the exhaust tip, but here at the junkyard, they don't allow electric saws because of the sparks that it creates. And I don't have a handsaw on me, so we'll just take the whole thing. And so all we gotta do in order to take this exhaust off is to unhook all of the rubber hangers. These things are a little tough to take off sometimes because of the rust. Makes them not want to budge, but a quick hack for that is to spray it down with some WD-40 and they slip right out. But in my case, I didn't bring any, so we'll just have to make do with the flatheads to pry them off instead. But if you still can't pull them off with some hand tools, the last resort will be to just cut the rubber pieces off and order some new ones.
Get you one of these. That seemed to do the trick.
Noisy. And I think there was a total of 4 hangers that I had to take off. Alright guys, now that we've got this thing unhooked and completely free, all we gotta do now is yank on it till it slides all the way out. So the exhaust system has a bunch of bends in the piping, so you're gonna have to rustle it just a little bit in order to pull it out from the wheel well. And as you can see here, it doesn't want to just come straight out because the lower control arm is in the way. I'll have to make up for the tight space by angling the exhaust in different positions.
God damn it.
And I was getting tired of wrestling the exhaust here, so I figured I'd try unbolting the lower control arm so that I can just drop the exhaust through the opening from doing so. But it turns out every single one of these bolts were rusted in completely and decided to snap on me while trying to break them loose.
So we're just gonna go back to the original plan. I'm just gonna try to yank this out without having to unbolt anything. It's just shaped in a way that I'm not really able to finagle this out, but I'm gonna keep at it. Surely it should come out. Wow. That's all I had to do. Let's yank this out.
Yeah, and there we have it, boys. We just found ourselves a brand new exhaust system for the Civic.
All I had to do was rustle it a little bit. Luckily the car is already elevated, so I had plenty of room to just kind of, you know, maneuver this.
And so I ended up paying for this entire piece for only 40 bucks. And like I said before, if I was able to just cut the tip off, it might have been even cheaper. I'm really happy that I was able to find this at a junkyard, and now I'm super curious to how this Flowmaster exhaust is going to sound compared to the original Honda exhaust. Since it won't have a muffler on it anymore, I bet it's going to sound crazy loud.
Pretty curious to see how this is going to sound like on the Civic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be loud as hell. First things first, I'm just going to get the car up on jack stands, and then we're going to take off the original exhaust. Once it's off, we'll just, you know, compare the lengths. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so a lot of you guys were having concerns about me getting underneath junkyard cars. I agree. Not the safest thing to do, but you know, you just gotta make sure that it's all stable. Usually at that junkyard, all 4 points usually have something on them. Like, you know, they like to weld together the wheels and throw them underneath the jack points. Personally, I feel like it's safe enough. If you ever have any, doubts or whatever, just give it a good push. Make sure it's all nice and, stable enough for you to get underneath. But yeah, check it out. As y'all can see here, I got all four jack stands underneath, 2 of which have locking pins. And you know what, if you're still concerned, I'm gonna go grab my jack and
we'll throw it underneath as a safety precaution. But a step further would be to throw some tires underneath as well. Yeah, it's always a sketchy situation having to go underneath your car. So when it comes to safety, just make sure everything's in check and you'll be good.
First things first, I'm gonna drag the exhaust underneath the car just to compare the lengths. Kind of just want to figure out a point where I can cut the original exhaust and weld on this new one. So I'm looking at both setups. They're pretty much the exact same length. This right here is the only aftermarket part. They just welded it onto the original Civic exhaust. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this off either right here. I can reuse this flange. Looks like I can unbolt this part, this tailpipe with the muffler. All right, let's get out of here.
Now don't suppose you gotta take your wheel off, but I'm gonna do it anyway so that I can have a better reach to the bolts that are holding the exhaust together. Plus I can now use the wheel as an extra safety precaution. So I'm just gonna slide that right underneath. And so now it's time to bust out the WD-40 and spray these bolts and hangers down. Now I don't want what happened at the junkyard to happen here, so we're gonna lube these bolts up real good. Just gonna spray it all down so that it can penetrate all of that rust. Alright, so once that's off, all we gotta do now is take off the hangers. Now look at how easy it is to slide this rubber piece off. WD-40 surely does the trick for this type of thing. Now here they are side by side. I don't have a scale on me, but the original exhaust with the muffler is significantly heavier than the flowmaster pipe. I guess this makes for a good weight reduction mod. And with a closer look, you can see where they cut and welded the exhaust together, and we'll pretty much be doing the same thing. So now I'm out here with my angle grinder, and I've got a thinner blade attached so that I can cut this exhaust pipe in half. And y'all, remember to wear proper PPE, especially when handling power tools such as this. Wearing open-toed shoes like me is an easy way to lose a toe. Alright y'all, so basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut into this original one. I wanna keep this flange, so we're just gonna cut it as far as possible. I'm just gonna cut it off right here. Mark it off, cut off right here. We'll swap this onto there. Yeah, I'm kind of eyeballing it, but they're roughly the same length. Just gonna chop these up and weld them together. So pretty much this is how I'm gonna have it configured. I've got the flange side inserted into the exhaust tip. The cut's pretty rough, but I'm just gonna grind it down in a second. The original exhaust pipe is a bit smaller than the piping for the exhaust tip, so there's gonna be a lot of gaps for me to fill in when I'm welding. Don't know how hard that's gonna be, but we'll see. Hey guys, take a look at this. This is what happens when you don't measure at all and just try to eyeball it. You end up with fuck-ups like this. Seems like I cut the exhaust tip a little bit too short, so now I've got to cut out an extra piece of pipe in order to fill in this gap that's about 5 fingers long. Okay, now that we've got our third pipe cut out, this is roughly how it's gonna look. Yeah, I think this should work. So after mocking it up, I'm now going to get it ready for some welding by grinding off the sides to get rid of all of that surface rust. Just making sure that we have a clean surface for our welds to stick on there properly. And if it's got all that rust on there, it'll be harder for me to strike an arc. Well guys, for this project, we've got to weld this on, so I had to stop by Harbor Freight and give me a whole new welder. I haven't welded in a long time. I think it's been like a year or so since I welded. I mean, really the only time I ever welded was when I threw coilovers onto this car right here. Welding on some coilovers for this 280ZX. Yeah, you know, I figure I might as well upgrade and get me a new welder. This one right here is going to be the stick welder, titanium stick welder. I think it was a cool like 300 bucks. But at that time, I actually did sign up for a membership over there, so that took off maybe like 30 bucks. Yeah, $300 stick welder. I've seen reviews on it. So far, so good, you know? Real simple, just plug it up, get your stick, and start welding. I feel like this is a pretty beginner-friendly welder. Now, I'm not much of a welder myself. I did take a class, but, you know, I'm now just here kind of messing around, welding random parts together, so don't expect the prettiest welds ever. I'm just showing you guys what's possible at home in your driveway, so I guess I'll go ahead and do an unboxing for y'all. But yeah, this is the titanium stick 225. The reason why I went with this one is because I've only ever stick welded, so I'm just sticking with what I know. This one's pretty lightweight, pretty small, it's pretty portable, you can take it anywhere. And the cool thing about this is you can plug this into 2 outlets, a 120 volt or a 240 volt. So I thought that was pretty cool. You pretty much just, you know, get an extension, plug it into like an outlet at your house and take this anywhere. So yeah, let's go ahead and open this up. Power cord, ground, you got the thing that holds the stick, instructions. Now there's a bunch of reviews out there that you could look at that's gonna go more in depth. I'm just gonna breeze by this, but as you can see, it's got a switch here. You could do either 120 or 240. We're gonna keep it on 120. You got your ground, positive. You got the outlet on the back. Oh, and it even has like, I guess you could say instructions, like or like a guide to how high you want to run the voltage. Different amps would determine like which stick you would use. But yeah, I'm just gonna plug this up real quick, and then I guess I'll do a few like test passes. It's been a while since I welded anything, so I think I want to practice just a little bit. I don't have like a fancy workbench or anything, so I'm just gonna be welding straight on the ground. Yep, so here goes our setup. Got some extra pipe on the ground that I'm just gonna practice on. And I've got the ground cable hooked up to it. Now we just gotta plug everything up. And everything's labeled so you won't get confused. I'm just gonna insert the ground into the negative and then the stinger into the positive. And for the power cord, you can see here that I've got an adapter attached to it. This allows me to plug it into any common outlet that you would see around your house. And as for the electrode stick, I went with 6013, which calls for a 75 to 125 amp range.
Well, got my gear on.
Got everything hooked up. All I gotta do is turn it on, insert the stick into the stinger, and we'll get at it. Wish me luck. Alright y'all, so if you ever wanted to try out stick welding, I'd say have at it because it's the most basic and not so intimidating once you get the hang of it. To start a weld, you've got to strike an arc, and it's essentially like lighting a match but with a gentle flick. The hard part is maintaining that arc and keeping a steady arm while dragging the puddle to get a smooth and strong weld. Since the electrode stick is melting away as you go, you've got to maintain the same distance by slowly getting closer to the material as you continue. But yeah, this is my first time messing with welding in a long time, so I just wanted to refresh my mind on what it feels like. But anyways, stick welding is pretty cool and useful for things like outside repairs, so learning this would come in handy as a DIY person. But also, make sure you have the proper PPE like a mask and some gloves.
So I went ahead and got some beads done. I was just trying to see how straight I could get it. I tried stacking some beads as well. I'm glad to know that this works. Yeah, now that I know that there won't be any issues, I'm gonna line up the pipings, tack them down, and then eventually run some beads on it. So here's how it looks. And yeah, I know it's not the prettiest. I didn't even grind it down yet, so it's got all that slag on top of it. So yeah, check it out.
Alright, so now I'm just going to tack the pipes together so it'll hold in place while I run longer beads on them. To do this, you just strike an arc, hold it there for a second, and then quickly let off. But if you're too close to the material when you're striking, the electrode will sometimes get stuck to whatever it is that you're welding. And if it happens, it's all good. Just pry them off and start back over. It happens to the best of us. And also, if you hold it at one spot for too long, it'll end up burning through the material and you'll end up with a giant hole. So be quick. Alright, and boom, we've got it all tacked up. This just holds it in place so that I can grab and move the exhaust without it falling apart. And then me being a rookie, I burned through that part. But hopefully we can overlap it with some new welds. And then I'm using my drill with the wire wheel bit to clean up the surface and prepare it to be welded once again. So now that it's all tacked up, I'm just gonna run some beads and fully weld this exhaust together. For this, I was a little worried about burning through because of how thin the exhaust piping is. So because of that, I tried to drag the stick fairly quickly to avoid that.
I'm nervous as hell.
An operation like this is kind of difficult for my skill level because since it's a cylindrical pipe, I'm not just welding in a straight line. I've got to weld in a curve because of how it's shaped. So you'll see me bending over and reaching over to get a good angle. Alright, and there you have it, folks. I've got it all gooped up and welded together. Hey, what's up? Who needs their exhaust welded? I got y'all with a discount. But yeah, I'm not too worried about how it looks. I just want to make sure that all the seams are closed so that we don't have an exhaust leak. Like right here, I'm just going to start the welder back up and fill these in. And again, I'm not too worried about how it's going to look. As long as it's all patched up, we're just going to grind all of this down and make sure there's no pinholes. But yeah, and if you're just getting into welding, an angle grinder will be your best friend here. And check it out, I've got it all smoothened out and it somewhat looks like all one pipe. Hey, as long as there's no exhaust leak, I'm happy with it.
Alright y'all, I think I'm gonna finish this tomorrow morning. It's 8 o'clock right now and the sun's about to go down, so I don't want to keep grinding at this, bothering the neighbors and whatnot. Yeah, I'm just gonna clean up. I gotta take the tent down, so yeah, it was fun messing with that. Hopefully I'll do a better job tomorrow because I still got to put this one on.
Alright, so now that I've got the rest tacked up, I'm just gonna throw this on real quick to see if it even lines up to fit. If not, then I'll cut the tacks off and reposition it. I've got it hooked up to the hangers, and so far it looks all good to me. So I'm gonna continue with the process and weld it all up together. Alright, so we've got the second pipe welded on with a few holes. No worries, we'll just grind that down and fill it in. Grinded it down a bit, but there's still some seams I need to fill in, so I'm just going to run the stick along this edge so that there's no chance of any holes. Alright boys, it's all welded up now. She ain't the prettiest, but I'm confident that this won't fall apart or have any leaks. Now all we gotta do is throw it on, bolt it up, and see how she sounds. What do y'all think? Not gonna lie, I'm fully prepared for this to sound like complete shit. But hey, we were able to find this at the junkyard for the low, so I'll take this as a win. And there we have it, y'all. Our $40 junkyard exhaust is finally installed. And man, does it look sick on there. But it seems like it's just a little off center, so what I'm gonna have to do later is cut the hanger off and reposition it to a better spot. I guess that's just what happens when you decide to eyeball everything. And I like how this exhaust doesn't look like a fart can. It's got a decent size to it that doesn't make it scream ricer. Yeah, all we gotta do now is drop the car and start it up. I'm really excited to see how this sounds. What do y'all think? You think it's gonna be super loud or what? I'm hoping for a really low tone and something that's not too drony while I'm driving. Okay, I got the battery hooked up and I'm just gonna start it up for y'all. And before the big reveal, this is how it sounds like with the original exhaust. And now, this is what it sounds like with the junkyard exhaust on it. Damn, it sounds like something off of Need for Speed. Yo, I'm really happy with the way it sounds. It very much has that typical Civic sound. Here it is at an idle, and really it's not too loud at all. It's got a low tone to it when you're just sitting, but once you're really on the throttle, that's when it screams. And when you're inside of the car, it's not so loud as well. And there you have it, guys. For our 10th day, we were able to get an exhaust and install it on the car. So I hope y'all enjoyed that video. It took a bit for me to, mock it up, relearn how to weld, and, put it all together for y'all. And yeah, I don't think it sounds too bad. It's not that much louder than the original, but it has a nice, grumble to it, I guess. It's pretty cool coming across a Flowmaster exhaust at a junkyard. So yeah, I see all the love and support that you guys are showing me. I think right now we're at 67K subscribers. I noticed that a whole bunch of y'all are watching but aren't subscribed. So I think my goal is to reach 100K pretty soon. So once I hit 100K subscribers, I think I'm gonna do a little giveaway for you guys. Here's a hint, it's gonna be a suspension part. So, I mean, like always, I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all for the next one. Bye.